Hey, Eddie and Zotto, GamerNode.com, back again with another board game review. Today I'm taking a look at a 2 to 4 player game from CMON that's described as an adventure board game. An adventure game. This is Arcadia Quest. It may look less like an adventure game and more like a dungeon crawl, but in actuality it plays more like an arena combat game, and it's got like a real sort of video game feel to it, where you're all running around the board, killing enemies, smashing each other, dying, and respawning until you've completed your objectives. This is designed by a number of designers. I'm going to have to look at the box here. Um, Tiago Arana, Guilherme Goulart, Eric M. Lang, who we all know and love, and Fred Perret. From CMON, it's Arcadia Quest. Is it fun? Let's take a look. As is usually the case with CMON games, we're going to take a look at some of these minis because they're very nice. They come in this sort of standard CMON packaging in the plastic, in a box, inside the box. All the sculpts are super detailed and have a ton of character. They're really good looking. They have that sort of cartoon look, but not too far to the anime scale. It's sort of an art style of their own. Really nice. I think they're all super cool. They're all very different, all distinct. They give you a good sense of who that character is and what they might be good at. Really nice. I like them a lot. Then you've got some of these big baddies. Gotta love them. Big old Minotaur and some of the more dangerous enemies in here. Big troll. Look at that. That's crazy. Really cool. Really digging these Minotaurs. Just awesome. Just there's so much life to these sculpts. You know, they just come alive on the board. I like it a lot. And even your basic Orc Marauder. Look at that mug. Really good. Lots of detail. Just a pleasure to look at on the board. Just really fun to fight these guys. Now let's take a look at the board. Alright, so here's a sample board setup for Arcadia Quest. And the way I have it set up here is a 2-player game just for table space, but it really does seem to play best the more you add into the game. So I'd recommend a 4-player game for maximum chaos and fun and laughter. So the main thing each player will be looking at is their player board. This is their guild board, and they have 3 separate heroes who they've chosen at the start of the scenario, or at the start of the campaign if you're playing a campaign where all of your stuff, all your characters and money and items and weapons carry over from one scenario to the next. As you can see here, they each have 4 slots for different weapons, items, armor, spells, and death curses, which they would have received after dying in a previous campaign. Here you have a death token, which you get each time you die in a campaign, and after a campaign's over, you'd add that death curse. And in between these scenarios, you get upgrades based on the level of play and how much money you have in your guild. But for just the game at hand, here you have a sample board set up. These are big, chunky, square tiles, and they can be set up in a variety of ways. This one just happens to be how it was set up. The campaign book will detail where everything on the board goes, from enemies to the quest tokens to open and close doors, portals, quest markers, and anything else that is relevant to the campaign, including these spawn tokens, which I think are really cool the way they work. And actually, a lot of the things in this game really work well. Very smooth, simple, and elegant, despite it being an Ameritrash sort of combat game. It has a very few easy to learn rules, and you can get up and running really quickly. on a player's turn, they can either activate a hero or rest their entire guild. To activate a hero, you can either move up to 3 spaces, and a move is 1, 2, 3, like that, or you could go 1, and then 2 would be to open and close a door, 3 open, and you would never do that, but those are just examples of how a move works. Also, you can go 1, 2, and then from any portal to any portal of the same color is another move action, or another part of your move action. The second action is to attack, and it's very simple. Say Grom here was trying to attack this little dude, or let's start off over here. So with attacking monsters, a player will look at their character, look at what they have, choose a particular item to attack with. This is a hammer. It has 3 dice. You roll those dice and you try to get what's shown in the success area here on the dice. This one shows 3 swords. So it's 3 dice and you're trying to get swords. Bow and arrows are misses in this case. However, those would be hits had I used something with a bow and arrow die. And then I would do that damage to this enemy. So here you have a monster card, and this details all the stats for that particular monster. You have their health, which is important when we're attacking them, and that's 2. And then we have this other number, 3, is an overkill. So if you reach this number, they don't get to hit you back. But if you kill them with this number of hits, then they still get to attack you on their way to their grave. So in this case, say I rolled my 3 attacks, and I rolled 2. I could kill this goblin, but on their way out, they roll this payback reaction, and they hit me 1 time, because they have this bow and arrow. That is a hit, and the sword is a miss. However, if I had rolled 3 swords, then they would be overkilled, and they would not get the chance to retaliate before dying. If you don't completely kill an enemy, you simply drop a wound token next to them, and that carries over for the rest of the scenario. But we did kill this enemy, so we would remove them from the board. We would earn a coin for our guild, having killed them, and they would go on to this death track here. Now, it starts out empty, and you place enemies from the 1st spot over to the 5th spot, and then when the 6th character comes out, they would slide this 1st character off, and you would spawn those enemies back to the board, and you do that just by rolling these 2 dice, and now we have a sword and a bow. So we find the spawn point on the board, which is right here, that shows a sword and a bow, and boom, this Orc Marauder shows up right there next to that hapless hero. Players can also attack other players, and it works just the same. Except, in the case of a hero, they have defense dice. So here it shows a 2 for defense for this character, 2 for defense, 2 for defense. And it's not always 2, it just happens to be that way on these boards. So, say Grom here was attacking this character, and say he rolled with 3 dice, and say he got 2 hits like that, then this character maybe had 2 defense dice, then he would roll his defense, get nothing in this case, or he could get shields, which cancel out 1 sword. And then the same thing with whatever's remaining. If they can reach the character's health number, they're dead. They go back on the player board until they respawn. So dying is going to happen. You'll take a death token. Let's say it was this character and he got killed. You take that death token and you hold on to that till the end of the campaign, but the character just kind of hangs out, and then the second thing that a player can do on their turn, besides activating a hero, is resting the entire guild. And the reason you'd want to rest an entire guild is because every time you make an attack, you're going to drop one of your guild markers on the item that you use. And that means that that weapon is exhausted and you can't use it again until your guild rests. So you take a whole turn to rest your entire guild. You remove all of these exhausted weapons, all these guild tokens, and you spawn your dead heroes back into your starting area. Now, in this scenario, these 3 squares were the starting area as detailed in the campaign book for this guild. And that's it. They're back to full health, all their weapons are back, and they're ready to go again. There are a number of other things around the board. There are these little quest markers. They're hidden. They give you some bonuses like an extra action or some gold. Some of them are traps. There's a variety of little things available, and those are things that you're going to want to jump onto because that's basically the only way you can heal is if you find yourself a healing potion, among other things. But like I said, some of them are traps, not always good. Each scenario is won not by killing off everyone, not by killing each other, but by accomplishing these particular quest goals. In every case, there are these PvP quest goals, which are kill blue, kill green, kill whoever's in the game. So, had Grom here killed that blue character, we would throw a green marker on the kill blue. He's now completed that objective. And anytime an objective is first activated, first completed, there is a first player bonus to have completed that, and you would take that. Some of the objectives have other rewards, like the King of the Arena over here. This one dictates in the quest book that players end their turn 5 times on these objective markers, and when they do, they would add one of their guild tokens to that space. And say a blue character was here, say this guy was gone, and this blue character was back, and he had done this for the 5th time, because that's what it indicates in the quest book, then that one would be completed. And in this case, there's a quest reward. So everyone who completes this objective, or at least the first 2 who do it, because there are 2 cards stacked with that quest card, they get to take that and add that to their player board. And there's also another thing that I didn't mention when you rest. You can mix up all of your character equipment, because you can't do that otherwise. And that's just about the whole game. It's very simple. Only a couple of things a player can do on their turn. Activate a hero or rest the guild. And activating a hero is just moving and attacking. You pick up those objectives automatically. You bounce from portal to portal just by taking 1 movement space. And that's about it. The enemies don't have their own turn. They simply react to what the heroes are doing. So they do have those payback reactions, and they have something else called a guard reaction. If a player is on a space adjacent orthogonally to a monster, and they decide to move away, as they move away, the monster gets to attack them. They roll their dice, boom, and they hit. And I should have mentioned before that this burst symbol allows you to roll an extra die. So that burst symbol would have come out, I would have rolled another one. Same thing on defense. You roll and you get a burst symbol, you grab another defensive die and roll that. So it's very simple rules, very easy to teach, very easy to learn, and very easy to play through. If we just want to take a look here at the campaign structure, if you're doing a campaign, you mark your progress on this sheet, you show who's won, who's died, coins, rewards, and you follow this map by doing a couple of scenarios in the outer ring, moving to the inner ring, and then ending up in the final showdown here in the center. And as for the way that items and monsters advance as you play through the game and get stronger, is you're going to be gaining level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 items in the upgrade phase that happens between scenarios. And monsters also get stronger as the game goes on. There's this deck of monster cards, and you can see a bunch of different colors here. And you can see that we were using these red ones because they have identical cards in terms of the monster depicted, but the stats change. This is a level 1 card. This Goblin Archer has a health of 1. For levels 2 and 3, that means scenario 2 and 3, their health goes up. And then so on and so forth into levels 4 and 5, and then level 6. So you would use the monster card appropriate for the scenario you're playing. So if this were a level 4 or 5, we would start with this Goblin Archer and that Orc Marauder instead of the ones that we used. So it scales up very easily like that. And that allows players to tackle the different scenarios in different orders rather than there being a set order, or to just jump into a game at a particular level by grabbing some upgrade cards and then selecting the proper level of enemy. And that's the game. Players will be vying for those objectives and battling each other along the way to try to prevent them from getting some of these objectives, killing each other off, and then respawning throughout the game until a particular player achieves the number of objectives described in the campaign book for that particular scenario. And they win. So it's as simple as that. Arcadia Quest, 2 to 4 players running around this arena, smacking each other up, achieving objectives, stopping your opponents right when they're about to succeed. A lot of lighthearted name calling around the table, maybe depending on the group, but a lot of fun. Easy, simple movements, either move or attack or rest, roll a couple of dice. The enemies are easily taken care of by the other players around the board. Very simple, very elegant for an Ameritrash game. Interesting. It really satisfies that light, medium weight in an Ameritrash game. A lot of times you look at Euros and you have this sliding scale of complexity, and it's really distinctive where a game lies on that spectrum. And with this type of a dungeon crawly type game, they're generally really rules heavy, kind of complex, a lot to learn before you can pick it up and play easily. Arcadia Quest, not so. It's super simple. You can really jump right in. You want to just sit down, throw dice at each other, and have a good time. It's a fun game. I liked it a lot more than I ever even expected to. I think this is a quintessential dungeon crawl, arena combat, Ameritrash game for sure. I think this belongs on anyone's shelf who enjoys this type of a game. I don't have much bad to say about it. If you're not into this type of game, you're probably going to be bored by just walking around rolling dice. But the interaction between players, the friendly competition, the one-upsmanship, the camaraderie, because you're sort of working together, but sort of working against each other. Well, definitely working against each other, but sort of working together to get through the campaign. And there's that sense of advancement where you're gaining new items for your guild as you go through each of the scenarios down to the center of Arcadia. It's just really well put together, and in, like I said, an elegant way. Not a word that I really use for this type of game, but I think it applies here, and I think this is essential for this genre of game. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. So that's a 5 out of 5 from me on the GamerNode scale. Big smile out of big smile. Lot of fun. Definitely worth playing. Definitely worth checking out. So that's Arcadia Quest from CMON Limited, Spaghetti Western Games, and all of those designers I mentioned earlier. Definitely a lot of fun, definitely worth checking out. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like our videos, please do give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel to catch all of our new stuff as it comes out. Follow us on Twitter at GamerNode, and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GamerNode. And of course, go to GamerNode.com. Catch everything as it comes out over there. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have fun out there. I'm Eddie Inzauto from GamerNode. See you later.